Yeah, that's mine yesterday.
So Karen and I are over here at my Auntie Dee's house in Willow Springs.
Yeah, you're so good at that damn thing.
She is.
And this is my Auntie Dee. I love you, Auntie Dee. You know that.
I know that.
And
I hardly see her,
but I was here a few months back.
Few months.
Yeah,
When?
it was a few months when we went to eat with Gina.
That was more than a few months. It was a few years.
No, it wasn't. Oh, you're teasing me. Well, anyway, this is my Auntie Dee, and my grandmother was her godmother, and so she. Do you mind if I ask how old you are, or would you say?
I'm 96. I'm proud of it, and I don't feel it.
And you don't look at or act it. Let me tell you this. This lady can ring around me.
Circles around
Circles,
us.
that's what I want to say. Circles around me. But Auntie Dee was here for everything. And so I love that she has so much knowledge of the past, of what happened back then. So I asked her if I could ask her some questions, and she said, sure. So
Am I getting paid?
I'll pay you. I brought you cookies.
I know you brought the flowers. No wonder you brought the flowers.
Auntie Dee, I love you.
This is going to make
know
you
that.
rich.
So Auntie Dee was around when my mom and dad got us, right?
Oh,
Obviously.
Yeah.
So how did you know they had picked us up? That they went to the grocery store and came home with a.
No,
They picked up in the frozen food section.
I did not know that she was going to get adopted children. I actually didn't know she wasn't able to have children. Like I told you, I made that.
So they didn't say anything to you about no.
No.
What about after they got it? So what happened?
Well,
they just called you one day?
She called me and said that she had 2 babies. And I says, whose are they? She said, they're mine. And I didn't say anymore, you know. And I said,
Oh, you didn't
what
ask
are you
her?
talking about? What are you talking about? They're yours. She says, we adopted a baby, but we got twins instead. So there's you got twins instead.
But eventually she told you the story
No.
because...
No, Angie never said nothing about the tumor.
Oh, no. That we had
yes,
this...
okay. Here's the story. She couldn't have children, so she wanted children. And someone told her if she went to work at St. Vincent's orphanage and they found out she really wanted a child, they would get her one. Well, she went to work there, but they never got her one. They never got her anything. So she quit. I don't blame her. That was one story.
But after she got us, she must have told you, because you said when we found our family, she called you saying the girls found their family. So you must have known that we were adopted eventually.
Oh, yeah.
And you had an article, you said, a newspaper article from...
I don't have it no more.
Right. So how did you know to keep that article if you didn't know about the story? That's what I'm saying. So at some point you must have known.
I knew. I found out after I had talked to your grandmother on the elevator. Remember I told you that part just now?
Well, that was before we were around, though.
That's when she had that surgery.
Right.
No, yeah. But I didn't find out from her, no.
So what is it you found out about that we had all...
After a while, I had called to see how she was and everything, and she told me she had the twins. She called me. And I said, well, you know, how are the twins and stuff? She said, fine. And then she had like a little party, big party for you guys. You know, when you first, I don't think it was your christening. I think it was just a homecoming thing. But then the following couple of years, I think, how old were you when they got Joey?
He's 6 years younger than me. So 6
You're
years.
6
So I
years.
was 7 because he was a year old when we got him.
Yeah, he was. He was.
And him we got from St. Vincent's Orphanage because I went with. I remember.
Did they get?
Yes.
I'm surprised because they refused this first time.
No, I went with them. I was there. I remember.
I mean for you, for
Right.
Because he
twins.
refused for them.
Maybe they refused because they didn't have twins. I don't know why they refused.
Well, I don't think my parents were looking for twins. I think they took
She
twins.
was looking for a child.
So you don't know how they found us? Like who told them about us? How did they know that these...
I don't know. But they did have a lawyer. I don't want to mention his name.
I think it's Pat DeLeo. I'll mention his name.
It was, you know him real well. Oh, God. You know him real well. He was a friend of Larry's.
Yeah, Uncle Lawrence's. Yeah, he's probably gone now.
Oh, yeah. Hey, everybody's gone now that I'm here. It's 96.
D'Arco? John D'Arco?
No, it wasn't him. It was, I think it was Laverty.
Who?
Laverty.
Laverty.
Frank Laverty lived 2 doors away from you on Evergreen. Laverty?
So where did we live when our parents took us home? Was it on...
No.
Do you know?
We lived on, I think it was on, where they had a corner building.
Well, we lived on Hudson.
Yeah.
I know that. Melvina?
That was Hudson. That was the corner building. You lived across the
It was
street
1500 Hudson.
from the police station.
Yes. So
Yeah.
that's where we
Yeah.
went to from...
I think that was the house. I'm almost sure.
Well,
Where'd you go from there?
I'm asking you because you were around.
No, I mean, where did they live after that house?
I don't know. I know that
Artesian?
there was something about Melvina. I know somewhere. Yeah, my mom always talked about living in Melvina, but maybe that was before us. We went from Artesian to Costner.
Well, we'll go on Google. We'll find out. We'll go on Google.
My Auntie Dee was also there when my adoptive family at the wedding, where my uncle, my mom's brother,
Natale.
my mom's brother, Anthony, he was 13 years old when he shot himself at the wedding. Didn't you tell me you were there that day?
Yes, I was right there. It was a little bit. Years ago, they didn't have ballrooms then, but they rented out little like I would rent out the shed. I mean that garage, and then it was all wooded. You know, you walk in there, and it was. I don't know if it was a society thing.
My mom always told me it was a wedding. They were at a wedding.
Maybe it was a wedding, but I thought it was a society. You know.
She said it was at a hall at a wedding or something.
It was a hall. But anyway, we were all there. It was all quiet and everything, and Tony was running around with some kids there. He was young. He was about 12.
He was 13 years old.
13.
Yeah.
He was young. You know how they run around and fool around. And they went in the kitchen, and they goofed around in there. And I guess one of the kids probably found the gun on the shelf. And I think either he gave it to Tony or Tony grabbed it from him. I don't know. I wasn't there. They're in the kitchen. We're in the hall. And then they hear the shots and everybody goes running to the kitchen. Now that was a hell of a place to put a gun on a shelf in a kitchen where a bunch of people are.
Yeah,
And
kids.
I don't think Tony meant to pull the trigger.
I'm sure
or
he
anything.
didn't. I'm sure it was an accident.
It was an accident. And all I could hear was your grandmother screaming and hollering, and your mom. No, your mom was my age. She's a year older than me. And she was there. Nata was there. Tony was. Larry was there. I'm almost sure. I don't think Joe was there. Your brother, your Uncle Joe, because. Now, come to think of it, I don't remember where they lived, but they at one time lived above our house, the second floor in our house,
Right.
in our building. And that's where your Uncle Joe passed away. That was the first time I ever knew that the people were waked in their home. They had to hurry up, clean up the neighborhood, the living room, get the furniture out, put it someplace, and put chairs around for people to sit down, and they cooked. They had food for them.
Yeah.
So,
And it was so sad
I can't
the,
imagine.
the door coming down from your grandma's apartment there had like this black wreath and ribbons. I never seen anything like that. I was just, if Tony was 13, how old was he?
Joe was 17. So Joe and Tony were my mom's brothers. Joe was 17, Tony was 13, and they died 9 months apart. Yep. They died the same year.
Joe died first.
Yeah.
And that's where what let's go back.
He had a heart condition.
Up the wake held in our house was for Joe, not for Tony.
So what happened when Tony?
I think they went to a funeral parlor. I'm not sure. But Tony, if he was 13, how old was your mother?
My mother? Well, she was born in 1927, maybe?
No.
So 1924.
She was born either 25 or 26.
Yeah.
She's about a year older than me.
So I think she's about 6 or 7 years younger than he was.
Younger than
Well, how old were you when that happened? That'll tell you.
I was about 12 years old.
So that's about what my mother was
At
the time.
Well, no, she couldn't have been as old as Joe.
Well, he was 13, so maybe a couple years.
She was about 15. That's who.
I don't know. She was young too.
Yeah, she was.
But she was there too, wasn't she? She must have been.
Oh,
I wonder.
Your mother went. Where your grandmother went, your mother went with her.
Yeah, that's really sad.
Now I remember. Can you close that for a minute?
Sure, I can pause it.
No.
So Auntie Dee, I have a question. So when we found our family, when we found our birth family, Marianne and I.
Oh, I know.
So tell me what happened.
Your mother got very, very sad. She cried every time she thought about it. And she said, I said, what are you crying about? She told me over the phone. She says, Chloe found out where she was born and the family and everything, and she's going to leave us. Is she going to leave you?
Yeah, my mother, she would always get over emotional.
You tell her.
She knows what side her bread is buttered on.
You betcha. My mom was the best.
And she cried. She said, yeah. I said, she won't leave. I said, she won't leave. Don't worry about it. She said, and Sam, I could hear him saying, quit saying that. Quit saying that.
I wouldn't have been
to my mother, yeah.
Marianne, if they had left. I would have said, go back to your mother. Is that right?
I would have never done that. Auntie Dee, you can.
Said, how did Chloe get started on that? She says, I don't know, but she says, I think she's been working on it. And I says, oh, I said, you've got all kinds of things in your head right now. And that's it.
It's emotional for the adoptive parents.
Well, she felt bad that she was going to lose these girls.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
I get it.
I told her they'll never leave, for one thing. You don't. I says you don't even. I told her you don't even know if that family's still living, the father and the mother and all that. That's what I told her, and she says, well, they must have some kids. 23.
My mother knew that though. She knew that because she
did. Did she know that?
Sure, because my sister Emily, told me that my mom. She thinks it was my mother and my father. She said there was a man and a woman that came to the house and took us out of the house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Took you out of the house.
Yeah, so our older sister Marie.
To meet them or to get rid of
No,
you?
to get rid of us. Yeah. My older sister Marie arranged it with my parents. Somehow my parents met her. I don't know how.
Is Marie living?
No, Marie passed away, I think, in 2013, I think.
Oh, are you guys the only ones living?
No, there's 6 of us. Yeah, there's 6 of us.
23? That's a lot.
Yes.
I mean, that's not a lot. 6.
No, I know.
Of course, there's a lot of years there.
Yeah. Plus us being the babies.
You're the baby? I thought you were the
I'm
only
the baby.
She was the baby, but yeah.
Auntie Dee's I don't think my Auntie Dee loves me anymore.
Yeah,
I want to hear
you.
You tell me,
I
Auntie.
thought she was the oldest, not you.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. So there was a compliment for me, right?
It was a compliment
Auntie
to you,
Dee,
yeah.
I'll always
I
be the
got
baby.
your clock on my C phone, and it's in the car. The clock of your family.
Oh,
I
yeah.
carry it with me.
Oh,
all
the
time.
circle.
The circle.
The circle with our mother
Your
in the middle.
center. Yeah, she
And,
keeps time. She keeps time.
Really? That's cool. Yeah, I know
That's
Auntie Dee
something.
loves this story. She keeps trying to get me to go on some show.
Oh yeah, let's do that. You know what?
Go ahead.
Let's do that. This is my escort right here.
If you and her go on a show, you know what they're going to do? They're
I
going to
won't
kick
go.
Flo
They
off.
won't put me on. They'll just put her on.
No,
with the
they're gonna
story.
kick
No,
me
they're
off
going
and
to kick
keep
her off
you.
the stage because you're going to be in the whole act.
You should have been on Johnny Carson, Auntie Dee.
No,
Yeah.
but the what's his name, Dr. Phil? He's no longer on 3:00. He's on I think 7:00, but I don't know what station. I like his program. Some of them are good and some of them are crap. But anyway, I do like his program. You know, when I want to listen to it. But I wanted to write and tell him, you know, no, wait, let's back up. I like his program, and he's looking for stories. If you have a good story, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but I think it's not my kind of story.
Oh yes, it is.
I think
What's wrong with it? It's a different story.
I think Dr. Phil does other kind of stories, like psychologically problems and you know, trouble at home and stuff like that.
Dysfunction.
The other day he had a story, and it was real interesting.
So Auntie Dee, just for the record, tell everybody how wonderful my adoptive family was.
Your adopted family?
My mom and dad.
Oh, I thought. Oh, they were wonderful. I stood up for Angie's wedding, and Angie stood up for mine with Honey and Joe. Honey and Joe and Sam, and they were wonderful people, and they were very kind people. I mean, you didn't go to their house like you came here, and I ain't got nothing ready for you guys to eat. When you walked in the house, they had food.
Everywhere. Everywhere, from the kitchen to the front room to the...
And hello, how are you? Did you eat?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
as soon as
told me
you
all
walk
that,
in,
yeah.
people
Sit
walk
down,
in the
sit
door.
down.
Did you guys eat? Come and sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how my wonderful parents were. I miss
Well,
them.
the
I love them.
Italians were like that, but I'm almost sure a lot of nationalities are like that.
Yeah.
You know? And what national? It's a personal question. What?
What are we?
What national? Yeah.
We don't know. We're like a
there's-
mutt.
What nationality was she?
I think Irish is on her side, right?
I know her birth father. He.
So we're kind of all mixed up, Auntie Dee.
Yeah.
Mostly from English and Irish,
What?
but
Some
our
German.
nationality from our birth family. But also there's mixed ups like Scandinavian, Norwegian, or whatever
German
it was.
speaking there.
I don't have any German in me. I don't think.
Oh, really?
You got those genes.
No, she looks like your mom.
Like Angela?
Like that picture on the clock. Like that picture.
Oh,
on
the picture
clock.
on the clock.
It's
I have
the
her
circle.
mouth. I know
Yeah,
that.
you look
It's
like
a
her.
circle. She's referring to a circle that has our mother in the middle and all the kids around her. It was a picture that one of my sisters drew the
Beautiful.
circle, and we added pictures of each of the kids around our mother's face. Because who drew that? I don't know. One of our sisters. We can't figure out who. We don't
Yeah.
remember.
We got
have
it
to.
down about three.
That-
One
I
of
call
the
it the
three,
clock.
I think. What's that?
The clock.
Yeah, it looks like
Yeah,
a
it looks
clock.
like a clock. Yeah.
It's kind of drawn like a
Yeah.
clock. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, there
drawn
you
like
go.
this, with our mother in the center, and then all the kids around her,
Around
just
her.
like a clock.
And now those kids around there, are they put according to age?
Yes.
I
So
thought
at the very
'cause You're
top-
at the end. You're at the top
The
left-hand
caboose.
side.
Marianne is at the
Yeah.
top. I'm right before her.
And
'Cause she was
it's
born
hard
last.
to tell Marianne. I can never see, but I can tell her right away. I can tell who she is right away. She's got a common face. Mary had a rare face.
Yeah, I'm just a ho-hum kind of a...
It's good to be
You know
home.
what? You do look like the Torminas.
Oh, please. If I'm going to look like anybody, I want it to be the Costas.
Your sister's married after your father's mother. Her name was Mary or Marianne,
Marianne.
and your name's Florence.
Yeah, after
And they called her. What was your grandmother's maiden name?
It was Di Domenico.
Domenico?
Domenico.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
Sunday. That's what it is. But her name, what they say is Providenza
Yeah,
di
Providenza.
Palermo.
Yeah, thank
They
God I
always
didn't
mention-
end up with that name.
Huh?
Thank God I didn't end up with that name.
Providenza di Palermo. That means Florence from Palermo.
Right.
You know, and I always thought her last name was Palermo.
Well, this is Florence D. Chicago. Right here. Here, that's me.
Yeah. Well, I hate to tell you this story about your grandmother.